Welcome to the United Anglers podcast with me, your host, Matt Forshaw. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow so you don't miss any of the up and coming episodes. If you want to send us a voice note, hit us up on the email below. Follow us on all socials, and I hope you like the next episode. Welcome back to United Anglers podcast. I'm here with Peter Humphreys, Jake Dodwell, and some of you might recognise the boy over there, George, who's on episode 2. Right. On that episode, we touched on a lake called the Glebe, and we spoke about doing like a little Glebe special. And we're going to do that today. It's a lake that's very close to all of our hearts, and sadly not with us, or like not a part of our lives anymore.
No, it's gutted, mate.
Oh, mate, honestly.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Didn't know how good we had it.
No, someone's going to cry tonight.
Who's
talking about that?
I welled up just saying that.
Good memories though. Do you know what I mean? You can't there's no negative stuff about
No. It was unbelievable. Yeah. We had a phenomenal experience.
Everyone did. Every angler that fished
really,
there. Do you know what I mean?
Really special lake with special group of people.
Yeah.
And it was just everything you want from carp fishing.
So if you had to describe that lake to the people that are watching and listening that don't know, what was the best way you would describe the lake?
Yeah, chime in, lads. But 10 acres?
Just under that, I think. It was like 8-9 acres, I think. Yeah. But the depth, wasn't it? The depth of it made it so much bigger.
Yeah. So one end it was surveyed, wasn't it? And it was just under 70 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. So
like
70 foot
well,
deep,
like
just
cliffs.
absolute cliff faces, old quarry, sand quarry.
Clear, proper.
Absolutely crystal. With 90 fish?
I think around 90 fish.
90 fish, couple of koi, couple of...
Maybe more.
There was a golden orf and a blue orf, which is my first ever fish.
A couple of big bream,
George's
weren't there?
blue orf, and 2 big bream that nobody ever caught. Which
it's crazy.
Unheard of.
I mean, the fact it was an old quarry as well, as in you fish lakes and it's average depth of 15 foot and it's nothing going on, but you've got a quarry which got steep margins, goes up to 3 foot one end, 70 foot in the other. It was just mad.
Left all the boulders. The boulders in those edges in the deep end were phenomenal. It's unbelievable.
It gave you all the fishing you wanted, though, didn't it?
Absolutely everything. Swim to swim.
You wanted.
Swim to swim was just a different type of fishing. If you think of it like a day ticket, where every swim is fishing the same sort of thing, same sort of water. This was just you go 100 metres down the bank and it's completely different lake. It was absolutely brilliant.
We were spoiled, and you only realise how spoiled we were now that I fished the waters.
100%.
Nowadays, fishing's changed over the years. It's obviously getting busier and busier, which is good. Obviously, we want people to get out on the bank and encourage fishing worldwide, but it also means that lakes get busier, which comes with, you can't get your own thing going sometimes. Whereas that lake, 20 members?
Yeah,
it was to begin with.
It was 20 members. It weren't you ever had problems with. You occasionally get people baiting up your swim or whatever, but that's just standard. But the fact that it wasn't swamped, you go down there most of the time and you've got 1-2 anglers. Do you know what I mean? Weekends.
First couple of years your brother was on there.
Yep.
Then you got on there.
Yep.
You did a year. I got on there. I did a year. You got on there. You did a year. And then Matt got
I was thinking this earlier.
And then we all did it.
Matt probably fished it. I fished it hard, and then Matt joined, and then I actually petered off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think we actually fished it at the same time.
No,
not much.
I had a gap year when Matt joined because I couldn't afford the ticket, and that was when Mick, he phoned me up. He was like, "Why have you dropped your ticket?" He went mental at me on the phone when I told him, I can't afford it. He was like, I don't care about that. He was like, you could have just give me 20 quid here and there. And so I had
you
a year
regret doing that though?
I had a year off. I completely regret doing it because then I came back on for 1 year and then that's when that was the last year.
I'm surprised they let you back on. I thought they would have, get rid of it quick.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Get rid of that slayer.
He's only going to lose every 5-1 or whatever he lands.
I didn't have a great track record on there. I lost a couple.
To be fair,
always at the net though. That was the worst thing. I always knew what I'd lost. It was never just bump one off. It'd get to the net. I'd go, it's one of the good uns, and then it'd fall off.
To be fair though, I'm thinking about it. I actually lost quite a few fish from there. Actually, looking back, actually, I don't know whether I was a lot younger. Yeah, I know. Probably. But I'm looking back at it. I did actually probably lose a lot more fish than I probably would do now. So maybe it was.
What do you reckon the reason for that is?
I was tied his rigs.
Probably. George used to like help me with ring tying, and I'll openly admit it's not my strong point, but I've gotten better at it. But I think when I joined that lake, when I think about it, I was probably 20 years old.
Yeah,
I was young. Do you know what I mean? And that added to the excitement because I think you didn't realise what you had at the time because you were young. You were like.
And what I will add is none of us have ever fished anywhere quite like that.
No,
it went from like day tickets to.
You'd come
Glebe,
from one of the last years of Farlow's being a ticket rather than
I was a boy leisure.
It was boy leisure. You'd come from there. I was on paper court. We were on paper court.
Yeah. But you only dabbled on there, didn't you? It wasn't paper court for a long time. Like
I did.
Yeah, I dabbled on it.
Jake did the spring ticket. I stayed on.
Right.
And I used to take the dog down there, and because I was working in school, so I had all the half terms and everything. So I used to do really long sessions whenever I could, and then I'd just do the odd weekend in between, and that was brilliant. And then Pete had this ticket. He was like, "You got to come down here." And I remember there was this one day. Yeah, this one day he phoned me up. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm ill, mate. I'm at home." He was like, "So am I." And I was like, all right. He's like, do you come down the lake? I was like,
what lake's this?
Go on then. He's like, it's next to Mercer's. And I was like, go on then, yeah. So he's come pick me up. We've gone down this lake, and Docker was down there. He was the only one down there.
Legend.
So shout out Big Joe Docker.
I love Docker's.
Absolute hero. And he set up in this swim. We'll get onto some of the swim names later, probably.
Yeah, classic swim.
I remember this.
Great swim names, but he set up in a swim called Crackman's, which is named for really obvious reasons. And we're stood in the swim chatting with this Docker and us. Me and Pete both see one show, complete opposite end.
Right.
Docker, you see that one? He's like, no,
I
sat there watching. He see it show. He's packed up his gear like that. We've all walked up the other end. Me and Pete have helped him carry his gear. He's flicked 2 rods out. Been half an hour. He's had
rattled
a fish.
Off. Yeah.
And he's had Spike.
Spike. Yeah,
Spike. And I've done the photos for him and everything. Brilliant. And so Spike was like, and I knew at this point I was probably getting a ticket because I'd done a work party.
Managed to get you on. Yeah,
Mick
was sweet like that.
He trusted. If someone recommended someone and you came down and did work party and everything, and he went, yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
So you sorted me out, and then so Spike was like top of the list. Like, and I was like,
that's a wicked fish, mate. When I caught that, I was delighted, mate.
Yeah,
like, nice fish.
I don't want to talk about that fish. Really.
Yeah, we've got some photos. Obviously, you're gonna
overlay some.
We'll overlay some photos here and there, just so the viewers and people can see. If obviously you're listening and you want to see those photos,
I've got the photos of Docker with Spike, so you can chuck that one in there. Yeah,
have you?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Someone on the group the other day, someone sent a picture of Spike. One of you.
I did.
Yeah, you had Spike.
I think Jake, you had it. I remember when you had it.
No, you had Bubbles.
Sorry, yeah.
That was another special one.
Same sort of size, similar sort of fish, yeah.
Bubbles was the one that broke my heart.
That was my first session down there.
Yeah,
you boys got me
I
a
was
ticket.
fishing opposite you.
Yeah.
You were fishing off the top.
Yeah, off the top.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
I remember
you had it twice though. Because
no,
you had it twice.
You were over there. You were with him.
Yeah, I'm not.
And
I struck his rod. I struck the rod. I remember your rod was going off.
I was with you, and you were somewhere else. And me and you were just having a beer in the swim.
Yeah, I was like, I want to hit it. Do you know what I mean? And I was like.
But yeah, that lake you could go out, wouldn't it, and just tip a whole bag of dog biscuits.
Yeah.
Mate,
in the summer they love to float in there.
Mate,
yeah,
that was it.
It weren't the surface fishing down there wasn't actually that difficult.
No, it wasn't. It was brilliant, and that was something I think us four probably picked up from. Like call his name out, Till. He used to he'd go before work. He'd go down, put 10 kilo of mixer in, and then he'd go work, and he'd come back in the evening, and wherever all that mixer had drifted, he'd go and fish over it. There'd still be a few left.
I thought it was Joe that started that.
Joe done really well. Joe's a good angler, full stop, but Joe was a very good surface angler as well. I see him one evening at Scar at 40. He had another 3 other fish, literally in a couple of hours. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And they would literally dump the mother load at one end, let it drift across, and wherever they started feeding most, they'll just start fishing. But you had the freedom to do that down there. That's what I mean.
That was the best thing. It's like I remember I used to go out of an evening. I'd chase them around in the shallows all day, red hots, whatever. Go out, I might have had 1 or 2 during the day, and then it'd be like, I've got to go and have some dinner, covered in sunstroke, absolutely battered. Go back to the swim and just get in the boat, row out halfway, and catapult out 4 or 5 kilo, row back in, and then just launch one of the absolute monster controllers. I think I don't even know if Corda did one.
No, they didn't.
It was the TFG one.
Nashville first.
Oh,
Nashville. The big white one was in Nashville
I
first.
remember the TFG one from years ago.
Because before that was
the bolt controller.
Yeah.
Just launch one of them as far as you could. You get like 90, 100
yards
with one,
reckon,
like
100
absolutely
yards.
savage. I did one night actually. I stood up to my waist in the water, launched one. I know it landed just past the fish, but I ended up like just my head sticking out of the water. Right? So I've like got out soaking wet, wound it back into the fish, put the rod down, turned around in the brolly, like found a old t-shirt to dry myself off, took my shorts off, stood there bollock naked, and all I can hear is zzz,
oh no,
straight away.
Clutch is going.
So I'm there like, pick the rod up, like rummaging around for a pair of shorts, get the shorts on, playing this fish from my Corey still out, and then old Richard from up the top walks into the swim, and he's like, "You alright?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, hold that for a second, sort my shorts out, put a t-shirt on, take the rod back from him, and I had the wood carving.
My favourite fish.
Yeah,
my favourite fish.
One of the best fish in there.
I never caught that one, and that was one of even though it was only, what was it, like 24?
24? I had it 24.
26, but honestly, the name does it justice.
I think I had it 20. I had it after you, I swear. I had it like 26,
I had it really early doors. I had it 24. I think you were 24.
But just to add on the surface fishing side, I remember Joe when he was fishing zigs out in the front, and he was literally fishing the deepest part of the lake, or one of the deepest, 50, 60 foot zig, pop up. And I was going out in the boat.
Yeah.
He'll cast out, he'll reel down, and he'll have like a fake dog biscuit inch under the surface, and he had scarf.
Yeah.
You used to be able to drop them from the boat, the zigs back then.
Yeah,
because to stop the tangles, you just drop the zigs.
Mad.
Because you put them over the 60 foot, put the zigs out, and
it's crazy, isn't
it? You leave the rod on the bank and just tow out, leave the even a clutch super loose or the bail arm off, just drop the lead. And you'd be sat there like,
how eerie was
that's
it?
Got to be
like paddling over that 60 foot of water. And you're just thinking. Oh,
that's what I mean. The lake had a different dimension to it. Like you won't have that.
Did you ever play a fish in the boat over that water?
No, they banned boats just as I joined. Well, they stopped the boats as I joined.
Sorry.
It was you lot, wasn't it?
It was my fault.
That's why they should have just banned you.
No, but the boats got banned because I caught a fish on a guest ticket. And I had the fish in the edge, round the corner, jumped in the boat to get the angle, played it over 60 foot, netted it. There was only one other person on the lake. Fitzy was down there.
Fitzy.
Big Fitz. So I rowed over to his swim. And then it was a week later, someone had complained and the boats got banned. The boat got banned.
They took the boat away, didn't they?
What's the issue? Like, I had a fish.
The insurance was an excuse.
I did the sensible thing, life jacket on, the lot, and I rode into someone else's swim, and it was like, you can't. The message I got was you can't be landing fish in other swims, blah blah blah. Load of rubbish.
If anything, Headley should have got it banned, right?
Yeah, probably.
One of the funniest things I've seen.
That receiver is still in the lake.
We'll probably touch it later at some point. And have to mention it.
Your brother, mate.
Honestly, that was so funny.
What happened there then? I don't remember that.
It was before you all joined. I'm pretty sure it was my first year, right? I remember it like yesterday. But it was only me and Fitz were the only two people to witness it.
Right.
But I still remember it. Like belly laughs and stuff. Like even now, it cracks me up. Right. I'm in crap, man. It was a nice day, and I was just sitting there chilling out, and I see heads going out the boat. But it was the boat. We had the green one, I think, that was flat.
Yeah.
This one was. I don't know if it was still there because we got rid of it after because it was so unstable.
Yeah.
What are they called? Ski something? I
don't know. It was. We had the old.
It was rocky. It was rocky. Do you know what I mean?
It was like wooden.
Yeah. He was set up for failure. Do you know what I mean? It is Headley.
It should have probably had a sail on it, sort of thing.
And I'll probably tell you people that Headley's your brother.
Yeah, Headley's my older brother.
He was on there before you as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, brilliant angler. Much better angler than I am. Do you know what I mean? I had a lot of them out of Glebe. I think he almost had everything. Do you know what I mean?
Probably 3 or 4 times, didn't he?
Heads to Slayer, we call him. Do you know what I mean? But he was going out in the boat anyway, and I'm in crap, man. So I'm looking up for Heads is going out. Fitz has got his rod. I weren't really paying much attention, and then I looked up again, and I thought he was going to go to the island, but he's gone past the island now. I'm thinking, fuck, he's gone a while, and then he kept going to the margin, and I thought, all right, he's got there, and I see him putting out some bait. I was watching him do it, and I was like, he's putting out some bait, and the next thing you know, he's got his rig, and I'm not joking you, he swung his rig back, swung the rig in, and as the rig's gone in, he's just gone in with it. And it was like, it wasn't like a panic. He almost just accepted it and went head first into the ring, right?
Is that why it's called headers?
Yeah. Honestly, it was like it was a splosh. Do you know what I mean? It didn't panic, right? And I've just seen the boat went upside down.
How deep was it there?
It's a crystal, probably. It was, where the
was it the woods or
not in the woods? Next one down. So it was
road
in between. Yeah, the road.
Yeah, the road. Yeah.
So like. Yeah, it was quite deep. He's got 15, 20
15,
foot.
Yeah, at least 15, 20
It drops off quite quickly.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, my brother obviously, I thought, I better run round there, check he's not like struggling, because it's deep water.
There's no way I would not have backed him to be able to swim.
I'm sprinting around there, and I've got into what is the old board swim, and I'm like, heads. Like, are you all right? Do you know what I mean? And he was all like disorientated, and he thought he was in the woods. Like, I'm in the woods. I'm like, nah, mate, you're in the boards. And he's like, oh, this is all right, actually. It's like doggy paddling.
Classic.
And then, it gets better than this, right? So he got out of the lake, he's soaking wet, and he goes, I think my receiver's gone in the lake. He goes, I think my phone's in there as well. Right? Luckily, I think his receiver did go, but his phone was back in the bivvy.
Yeah.
And I've called up Fitz, right? He's got his rod, remember? And I've called him up, and all you hear is Fitz pissing himself. Like, he is laughing to the point where I can hear him laughing across the lake, and I can hear him on the phone.
Oh, quality.
And then I remember thinking, you better go back round there. So he walks back round the other way. So I've walked back to my swim. Wayne heard it all, but he didn't see it.
Wayne
was like, what happened? You see heads all like, and he was like, I fell in the lake. He goes, I thought it was a cricket over the road. And then he goes to him, he's like, go and do it again.
Yeah, because there's a cricket.
Wayne was possibly one of the greatest
and I remember calling Till up, because I thought, I've got to tell someone, and Till just left, I think, or I was speaking to, like, first year on there, he was still fishing there, so I called Till up, and I was like, I couldn't talk. He was like, what's happened? I was like, I can't explain what I've just witnessed. You know what I mean?
Is that Till that caught the scar a couple of times, right?
He couldn't stop catching. We called it Till's pet.
Till's pet, that's it, yeah.
He had it so many times.
No, he caught everything else. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, like to the point where he's double catching everything, and then he just couldn't catch
one fish eluded him.
It's just, I feel sorry for him. I feel so sorry for him.
Actually, to be fair, did any of us have a scar?
I didn't.
No one had a scar. Scar's the one that cut me deep, because that is one
I think I lost it.
Truly lost at the net after 2 attempts of netting it. And then Fitzy again was the only other one on the lake, and he woke up from me shouting when it dropped off. I did it literally third time at the net, and it just turned around. I was like, all right, take it easy. It just was gone. And then I screamed, livid. Fitz has woke up, and my phone's ringing straight away. I'm like, what? And he's like, what's happened? I said, I've lost a scar at the net, mate. I said, look, anyway, when you're up in a minute, you come round, because I got a really good fish in the sling from like a couple of hours ago, and I was going to wait till you were awake, come and photograph it. And as I've said that, I walked down to the front of the swim, I just pulled the string, and the sling's just empty.
You're like the worst person.
That must be a horrible feeling. But I've never done that.
It was bubbles. It was bubbles that I'd put in the
Bubbled
sling.
His way out.
And it just like, mate. It was one of the, you know the nights you have where you wake up in the night and you are not awake.
Yeah.
And I was not with it. I'd had liners for hours and hours from like 11 p.m. And then I had this fish at like 4 a.m. I just had never got into any sleep. And then I had this take, netted this fish, put it in the sling, sure I zipped it all up and everything. Then had another, put the rod back out, and it was the other rod that went. Lost that one, livid, and then just look in the sling, and this other like low 30, absolute gem of the lake's just not in the sling. Horrible. I just said to Fitz, I was like, don't worry, I'm packing up. I think that's when I dropped my ticket.
I'm done.
Yeah.
That's the thing about that lake as well, you just reminded me, like, not always the biggest ones were the gems.
No.
A lot of the times it was the smaller ones. Those little linears.
Yeah, wood carving for me was...
wood carving.
Then
you had remember the lins? There was like 3 or 4 lins.
Little Lin was one of the like second or third fish I had.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the lin and then the 2 scales underneath?
Yeah. I think that's
Till's got a wicked photo.
Yeah, he put it up recently, I think. I saw it today.
Yeah. That wasn't Little Lin, that was Middle Lin.
Yeah, because there was a middle one.
There was like that sort of strain of fish in there, though. There was a few of them around like the 20 to 23 pound mark. That were like.
We can talk about the strains of fish in there. There was not
unbelievable.
There was not one fish in there. I refuse to believe that lake wasn't stocked, like hand picked, because there was not one fish in there.
Does anyone know where that
you didn't want? Headley was the only one. Headley knows because he loves that.
Yeah, Headers probably knows.
He'll tell you
but
where a load of them came
Fitz
from.
Has got quite a lot of
Yeah.
he's been around that way for a long time as well. Do you know what I mean? So he probably another one.
Yeah, they had a lot of
Ryan
the same,
Weller.
Weller
would probably know.
They had a lot of the same fish as the pit over the road.
Yeah.
Like they were stocked at the same time.
Yeah.
But even you, like, how many of them swirly commons were there?
Yeah.
Like even like those cricket bats and stuff. Every single one.
Always
of them
call
had
them a doggy,
weird,
didn't
you?
yeah. Weird little swirly pattern on them. Like
But there was
every
even
fish
there
had
was
something.
It's not like Mercer's where you had all the cricket
All the
bat
cricket
commons
bats,
and that. The Glebe didn't have it, did it?
No.
You had you had the ghosties, the kois, the really special mirrors, some wicked commons in there.
Mate, mix.
Mix.
Did you have mix?
He had it 3 times.
Absolute breeze block of fish. I've seen it on the bank
3 times.
Jake's pet.
Can you just tell us the 3 different types you caught that fish on? Because it always blows my mind. Like no one like that. Probably one of the hardest fish in there to catch, I'd say, because of how small its mouth was.
Yeah,
like people proper hunted that fish.
You had it on the world's
he had it 3 different.
Chod,
3 different tactics.
Yeah,
he caught it.
Yeah, the first time was a chod, quite a long chod.
I think it was
as well.
about 8 inches long. I remember, mate.
It was off the bottom.
Was it the woods or the road?
No, the road.
Yeah.
And I got up the tree and there was, I don't know what it was on the bottom, but it was just a bit of a clear area. Yeah, and I thought I have a bit of that. I think this was like my 3rd session down there or something as well.
I remember it clearly, yeah.
And then I caught it like that, and then I caught it on a zig out of car park.
That's good going.
Yeah, and then I had it just on a bottom out of
snowman or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it dugout?
Yeah.
Dugout.
One of them fish are just like everyone had that fish at certain lakes where you just catch them all.
Yeah.
That was
we had Pete's pet.
Yeah,
that was Jake's
big
pet.
Ghosty.
Yeah, mate.
What did you have? A big ghosty about 13 times.
No, it weren't that many. It was about 5 times, I think. But
to be fair, your first.
It does look a bit like you, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's the blondness, isn't it? I just couldn't start. In the end, I was like, there were so many other 30s in there that I was like gunning for, and you had a good fish, and you get it in there, and you're happy because you caught fish. When you realise it's something you caught, as you say, you like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
your first actual capture of it, though.
Yeah.
So
there was a bit of like dimension to it. Like I caught it foul hooks in the tail for zigrig.
Oh no.
In the spring, it was the first spring I fished it because we joined in October, I think. If I'm right, September, October. So I've had a couple of fish in the winter. I had one in the winter. I had another couple leading up to that, and then I was fishing zigs from the road with Fitz and Lee, who I don't know if he was fishing when you were there. Lee, he caught everything in a year. Wicked angler, mate. Top rod, I called him.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was fishing with him, and my rod's torn off, my right hand rod. I was fishing zigs. I thought it's a bit of a weird take on a zig.
Yeah, you don't normally get that.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking that ain't right. I've hit into it, and I thought rod tip was sort of banging away, and I thought that ain't. It's a bit of a weird, but I am on a zig, so I thought maybe that's something like that. And I've got it in the net, and Lee's netted it, and he's gone, "Oh, you got the big ghosty," and then he goes, "And it's foul, it's in the tail." And I remember just thinking, I knew something wasn't right, but then it was the next dilemma. I got it on the bank, weighed it, £35, 10 ounce it was. I remember the weight.
And that was big back then.
That was big. That's my first 30 out there. I actually wasn't my PB, but it doesn't matter. It was 30, and I was like, and then the people were like, "Do you want a photo with it?" And I was like, I don't feel it's right to have a photo because I haven't caught it. I've caught it, but I've not hooked it in the mouth, and I put it back. And that evening, I remember Fitz telling me, like, "You're a broken man." Do you know what I mean? I was like, no.
Fitz was so good at consoling you and then also rubbing salt in the wound.
The next day, he was like,
whenever I lost one, he'd be like, "It's all right, mate." And then he'd come back and remind you a couple of hours later.
Or it'll be
like, you lost that one.
Or it'd be like days or sessions later. He'll just drop it in there, and you're like,
he was just like,
Uncle Fitz.
I caught a fish, but I didn't catch a fish. Put it back. So it was like almost that emotion.
You know what I've got to bring up about the big ghosty is that time you got to when Wayne wanted a photo of it.
No.
Please. It's so good.
Yes, it is. That's class.
Please tell us that.
Oh,
the same fish.
Oh.
The ghosty.
Yeah, on the mat.
What, when it went off the bank? Yeah. So basically what happened was I think I had it on a zig, but I think a few weeks before that, he caught it normally. And basically what happened was, he's got his dogs, he's got his like 5 patterdowels with him, 5 patterdowels and the chow chow. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he caught it, but what happened was he left it unattended once he unhooked it, which is a big no-no. Not a proper landing mat, so if it moves, it can. And he caught it, and it went basically back in the lake after he turned his back
down the bank.
So anyway,
this is way back when things like this just happened.
Going back to the story of me catching on the zig, 2 weeks later I caught it off the bottom.
Yeah,
which
that was you had it. Yeah.
Bit of karma. I was so delighted with it. And then but Wayne's come round and goes, "What you had then?" I was like, "I've had the ghost in." He goes, "What?" He's like, "You could have kept it. I could have had a photo with it."
Wayne was possibly
Walker
was probably one of the greatest things on that day.
Just on a note to Wayne, like on a serious note, he had a major stroke a few months ago, 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, man.
He's a top bloke.
He is.
He's in a stroke rehabilitation unit at the minute. I just want to say, like, good luck to him.
We love him so much.
Wayne,
to that.
He's not in a great.
While we're on the note,
I absolutely love Wayne.
Fitzy as well. It's not.
Fitz hasn't been great, but he's battling on. Do you know what I mean?
Fitz is a warrior.
He's getting on with it.
Both of them are getting there. It'd be sweet, but
Is this things to come for us, boys?
Yeah, this is
the Glebe.
This is our future.
This is what it does to you.
I mean, they're just legends,
Walker's got some of probably my favourite memories.
Oh, mate, brilliant!
Just like when I used to, obviously, I was saying it before, like when I had like the half terms and stuff. So working in school, I'd have like a week down there, and Walker coming, he'd turn up, 5 dogs. George, I'm going to bring the caravan down. I'll do us a roast dinner on Sunday. I'll probably be alright, mate. I think I'll be going home early. Like, just, I'm alright, mate, actually. And then it'd be, George, come down, Jake. Come down,
Wayne loved Jake.
He had favourites,
didn't he? Come down to my swim and have a look in here. You go in that bivvy, 5 dogs will follow you in.
All terriers went there, apart from one.
Am I stuck? Like, am I stuck in it?
Bobby!
Bobby's a dad.
Tara!
He had a deaf dog.
Them dogs were hilarious.
And he used to have to. He'd shout at the dog that he knows can't hear him to say. He used to tell the dog over and over again, "We can all see the planes."
Remember the one that nearly drowned?
Yeah.
It went out and swam, but it was a bit loony, wasn't it? And it went out to a duck.
It attacked a swan.
Oh,
Me and George.
Was in the deep.
That was a different one. That was when Bobby. So we were all having a barbecue. Me, Pete, Jake, Joe, Fitzy. We were all having a barbecue round in the Broken Leg, and Till had his 2 kids in the car park, and his kids were young at the time. They're like 8 and 9 or something.
Younger than that, probably.
And we've heard all this commotion, and we just look over, like perfectly across that corner, and there's a dog swimming. There's feathers everywhere.
Oh my god!
All you can hear is Wayne.
I just see Wayne started stripping off, started taking the clothes off.
But the thing is, we shouldn't be laughing really, because from what I heard, it was all funny. It was all funny, wasn't it? Until the dog started coming back.
The dog couldn't.
But
and it couldn't swim. It started going under.
No, the dog started sinking. But where he started sinking, probably was probably the steepest part of the lake. That margin in front of the car
6 foot out, it's 40 foot
was like
deep.
that.
Do
you know what I mean? It was deep. There's obviously.
He was probably swimming over like 70 foot of water.
Yeah,
he was just going, Bobby.
Wayne had to go over it.
I remember Wayne.
Honestly,
Till at the time.
Till's kids were fucking traumatised.
Till's eldest at the time, Till's son, was there just laughing because Wayne was like jumping in.
I remember we could hear from across the lake. We could hear Wayne shouting at the dog to stop. Till shouting, "Wayne, stop the dog!" His daughter crying.
Oh, bless.
It was absolute carnage. The swan couldn't care less.
Nah.
Was out of reach. Kept itself out of reach of this dog. Had flapped around a bit and got rid of a load of feathers.
I mean, the swan was probably 4 times the size of the dog anyway.
Yeah,
and it was
tiny little.
It was on water, so the dog was never going to win.
The way we watched it though, because I remember being in the Broken Leg with Fitz.
We were in a big bar.
We just kind of looked over and just watched it. We were just like, didn't say anything. We're like, what the hell?
Just waited for the phone call about 15 minutes later until you won't guess what's happened. I think we probably can guess.
Them dogs are funny.
Mate,
I used to love about Wayne and Fitz. Well, a lot of people down there. You used to walk down there on a Friday night after work. And you'd be like, "Who's down? Who's down?" You didn't really know who's down. You didn't really have like groups then, did you? Facebook groups or Instagram, where they weren't a thing then. So like, it always be a surprise who's down there. And I used to go down to like used to head down to the barbecue, and Wayne would be sat there with like 40 cans of Foster's. Carling,
mate.
Yeah, Carling on one
48
side.
48 cans in 24 hours.
48 cans he done in 24 hours.
Didn't put his rods out.
I set up opposite him one day, and I literally on the high bank, and then he was in the Fitzy swim, and I literally used to watch him just necking beers, and all you hear is
Yeah.
Throughout the day, I used to watch him get more pissed. It was brilliant.
It's bad, really, isn't it?
It wouldn't have been
bad if he just used to go, I ain't putting my rods out, I'm just going to sit in the sun and drink
Sit in the
beer.
sun. He'd literally go down there camping, wouldn't he?
Tell you what, though, Wayne, you're not right. He had 2 40s in one morning down at Leeds.
Mate, don't even bring that up. I can't
Talk
believe
about
he did
King
that.
of the Glebe.
On prawns.
Straight into the weed as well.
Actually, that is something we should... King of the Glebe.
Oh, Melvin.
Melvin had the first 40.
Oh, yeah. He
did have the score 40.
Melvin, mate.
I think
But Wayne had 2 full brace of 40s in the morning, so whatever way you want to do
Nobody
it.
else ever did it.
But
I think, in my eyes, Melvin's the king of the Glebe.
King of the Glebe. Yeah, he's the king of the Glebe in your eyes because he told you 100 times
did, yeah.
he's the king of the Glebe.
Oh, no.
Every
time I see him, he tells me he's the king of the Glebe.
He put me in a headlock and told me, literally. Gave me a noogie. Like, I'm the king of the Glebe.
Melvin's the top bloke, man.
I remember I really upset him once when the only one he didn't have was the high back, and I made him come.
Everyone caught that.
He was the only one on the lake. He had to come and do photos of it for me, and he come round. I got it in the net, and he's like, "What you got?" I was like, "I'm really sorry." He was like, "No, fucking go back to my swim then."
Isn't that high back? Didn't it do 2 bites in one day?
No, it was,
either end of the lake.
I think it was Wayne again. I think Wayne
had it twice in a day.
He moved
from different ends of the lake. Yeah,
he moved from the point down to Crackman's, and he had it in the same day. Yeah.
That's
But it was one of them fish. The last 3-4 years, it was just greedy.
Yeah.
Just greedy. He was just eating everything. Didn't care if it got caught.
That was when you had it.
Yeah, it was coming out twice a week.
When you had it, it was one of my favourite stories from the Glebe. Me and him had done. We'd done the weekend, and he said Sunday night we sat there. We'd had a big dinner together, and he goes, I ain't going to work tomorrow. I was like, what do you mean?
We've all done that.
It's like 6 p.m. He's going to be packing up. Like he's like, no, I'm going to stay tonight. I'm on them. I'm on them. I was like, I ain't on them.
I got the bug bag. I won't go in the work.
I'm going to have one.
The carp gods are telling me I can feel it.
To be fair, I didn't do that a lot, but I had a feeling. I was like, I'm going to catch them all.
I was in Fitzy's front room, the picnic bench barbecue. It's had many names, that swim.
Yeah.
He's in the road. And then I've woke up, like, literally first light is like 6 a.m, 5, 6. George. Gone running down to his swim, thinking there's no way he's got a fish shouting at me like that. Like something's wrong. Running to his swim, I'm looking his brolly. There's no one there. I'm looking around the bushes. I can still hear my name being shouted. I just turned around to the lake. He's out in the boat.
You were so confused though.
When I looked up, he had to watch me. He's like, George, and I'm like looking around. He's going, George. I'm like, I had no clue. Finally spot him out in the lake, and he just let the whole of Surrey know. He's like, I got an eye back.
I was so happy at the time. It was my first.
That reminds me of when Jake called thingy.
Do you know what? That was my first 30 mirror.
Was it Fitzy's?
No.
Yeah.
Were you down there?
No, I wasn't down there, but it reminds me.
He
shouted across the lake.
He
lost your mind.
Lost my mind.
You had a day off work as well.
Yeah, no. Oh, did I stay?
No, because I was at work.
Yeah, maybe I did.
I came down.
Yeah, you came down.
We worked together.
Yeah.
This is what fishing does to you.
Yeah, you lose your mind.
You just know you're on it.
Yeah.
Get addicted.
We worked together. So I was at work, and he phoned me. He was like, "I've got Fitzy's and it's big," and I was like, "All right." Lunch in half hour, so I'll be down in a minute.
Was it the first time it did 40?
Yeah.
That's why you went mental.
The photos and it was like...
Thanks.
They've said photos.
I did my best.
That was a funny fish.
Mate, it was unbelievable, that fish.
Yeah.
Like, and we now get to look at that photo every single day.
Yeah, I've got it.
Do you know what though?
It's framed in the office.
Framed in the office. Like, honestly, I walk in there every morning, I'm like, oh, fuck it. Yeah. I have to look at Fitzy's and remember the Glebe. I get heartbreak every morning.
I must say, for those who don't know, Jake's actually George's boss.
He is.
And George is actually Jake's bitch.
Yeah. Didn't turn up to work today either.
Just
fucking, I'm not well.
Bollocks. But we've known each other for, God, how many years?
25 years.
Yeah, but we've all known each other.
Us three was school, wasn't it?
But I only met him the year before. I met you two.
Got memories of fishing when we were like 12 years old. Down at Vineyards or Beaver Farm. I remember
we were 10 years old. We were all 35, bar you, 34. Like it's 25 years.
It's
ridiculous. Mad. I still remember.
And we were very lucky that we had this one lake that we all got a year or two on.
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words so people understand how special that place was. You know what I mean?
I think, to be fair, I think a lot of people will get it. Like, so I think.
From the fish photos, you'll see that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have had the odd experience of these lakes and stuff, but
it just don't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't really.
It almost
everything that exists like that is dead man shoes.
Yeah.
Like
it almost ruined fishing for me in a way.
You took a huge break.
Yeah.
You stopped fishing for a couple of years after
that.
Yeah,
because obviously growing up on that, kids, work, but
nothing's going to match.
Just nothing.
I
couldn't find anything.
I didn't fish properly for about after I stopped there for about 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Properly.
You never
got another ticket.
No, I only got a syndicate ticket a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And everywhere you went was packed.
Yeah.
That was the saying earlier. You could go down there and
we got so used to it.
Yeah, I've done a social with Heads and Fits probably once, twice a year, where I booked a lake out and just done 2-3 nights, and I kept on doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still enjoyed it when I went, but I wasn't taking my fishing, not to say seriously, but I wasn't a ticket on anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't days. It wasn't.
You were just if you caught
I'd fish twice a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard after that.
I think the problem is that I had, like, the Glebe was obviously as a local lake. The water quality there was unbelievable. The fish kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
And I think everyone knew that if it didn't happen, what happened, you probably know there would definitely be UK 50s in there.
Yeah.
Who knows if they went bigger than that?
Yeah, exactly.
But there were old fish.
What was it when we left? 4, maybe
5? 440s, but every year on average they were growing £3.
And when you first joined, was there what?
Well, Fitzy's just nudged 30 when I joined.
Yeah,
there you go.
You had that 40.
I had it.
40.
I had it 2 years. You did. You came. You were at work. You came down on your lunch break to do the photos of it for me.
Yeah,
I had it 31.
The big ghosty.
I had 31.
I was with Heads when he caught it the first time. That was just £33 and it was big then.
Yeah.
And then that came out at 40 the
remember
year
when
before I dropped my ticket.
Do you remember when
I
it did 40?
I had it spawned out at 35.
It looked like it was going to pop.
You just think they were old fish, but I personally, you don't know what the limitations were on that lake. You don't know
Scar and Fitzy's had the frame. They could have gone.
Yeah. And we would have been on probably one of the best carp lakes in
another year,
definitely in the south of England.
Well,
you know what I mean?
But to be fair, you can argue we were.
We
actually were. Sod the size of them.
Yeah.
Like stock wise, the way the fish looked, everything else, and the way you got to fish, it was just beyond special. Like it didn't. You never cared. There was no point on that lake. You had a 20-pounder or a high double, which were rare-ish. You never looked at it and went, "Oh, I'll slip it back."
No.
It never happened. Every fish was
Every
so
fish
special.
counts.
That stock was as if it was hand-picked.
Yeah, it was
every
unreal,
single fish was special.
And it's like the swims was, like you say at the start, you said about all the swims are so different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Vietnam was one of my favourites as well.
I loved
didn't actually
Vietnam
catch
was a brilliant swim.
I didn't actually catch that much out of there, but I love being in there. Like you can imagine, like the name of it.
I
just felt like you were in Vietnam.
The reason it was called Vietnam is because the helicopter in the car park used to come up over the trees directly.
Oh, is that why they called it? I thought it was because of it was just so overgrown.
It was an overgrown bunker.
It was so good.
When the helicopter in the car park took off, which was an old Nam
Docker
helicopter,
named it, I think. I swear it was Docker's.
Because it was an old medic helicopter
I didn't know that.
from Vietnam. That was what old Peter had. And it used to take off and it used to come up over the trees. And
we haven't even mentioned the helicopter, have we?
And it's exactly what he was like.
So right in the car park, there's a helicopter pad, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Some guy, was it the owner or
Peter? No, he was just one of the blokes.
He
just lived there, he had a house and he just had his little pad there,
So like on the weekends and that,
take women out.
Remember, he used to sit there for about an hour, like polishing it, obviously doing all his helicopter checks and that, and then you'd be like, he's going out today, and then you'll be sitting there with your rods out, and on a sunny day when the lake's like mill pond.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And you seal the top, or like when it takes off, you see it going low over the lake, and all the fish would erupt, wouldn't they?
It was fun until you're fishing the car park. When it landed. You were like take cover, batten down the hatches. You know what I mean? You'd have waves in your swim.
Right in the car park. I've got a photo actually of it coming up over the lake.
Yeah, send us that.
Do you know what? That's
before he painted it.
I never went up in that. He was actually
white, I think, like in the medic.
It had a wicked sound to it, didn't it?
Yeah. He was a lovely bloke. I should have gone up in that. I don't know why I didn't have a chance to go up in it.
Mick
Mayer took his kids down. I remember they went up there. I was down there.
I mean, he said to me, you would have been a sick view going up there.
From the bird's eye view of the Glebe would have been sweet.
Oh, it's mad. Yeah, it was the landing though. It wasn't like because there was the oak tree, that big oak tree.
You had to go round.
So he kind of went like in an angle.
It weren't like over the car park.
And there was some like telephone lines as well.
Yeah, so you come in right over that swim. absolute carnage.
If you had a number one, like your favourite swim, what would it be?
Crapmans.
Really? Oh,
you love that
fish out
You
there.
spring crapmans, Peter in crapmans in the spring.
Yeah.
You used to fish up the shelf.
Yeah,
I think I had one fish
that
out
left
of
hand margin up crapmans done me well.
One fish out
left
there.
or right,
It was on
the
a
right
zing.
hand margin was good as well, but the left
never,
that was the
did
swim
well
bar.
in there.
No, I didn't do well there.
No.
I did well better from broken leg fishing.
Dugout.
Well,
that was like the
Dugout.
Me and you, we did almost exactly the same in the dugout. We had a lot of good times there. Mine would probably be Fitzy's because of that bush.
Yeah, the bush.
Fitzy's was a good swim. I had a lot of
that
good
bush, mate.
Yeah, I had a lot. That water
Held
out
them
in
all,
front of
didn't it?
Fitzy's the right time of year.
You
was
like
very
that?
good.
October,
sort of
I
November
never fished
time.
that open water. I used to. Do you remember that bush?
Both.
Yeah.
From
That's where you
Vietnam.
started having it off. There.
Joe had it off,
mate.
didn't he, from fishing
Yeah,
from Vietnam?
From Vietnam,
Round.
against it. Whereas I wouldn't. He fished it like I was like, no, I'm not going to wade out and try and flick to the right to that bush.
You went straight
I
across.
just boated across to it,
Which is hairy, really, because the weed beds out there in the summer where you're fishing over.
Yeah, but
weren't they? But you had a boat, so
exactly. That was it. If they did hit the weed,
Yeah, you
I
just
could
get
go
in
out
the
in the
boat,
boat, but they didn't really.
See, when I fished in, you couldn't do a
fish.
boat. You could cast that. It's a long cast.
It was a nightmare cast though because the sand patch was smaller than this. There was a spot there.
Yeah, but it
which
got
was
bigger, didn't it?
So you had Vietnam.
Did get big.
Yeah,
It
did.
got big.
People see what I was doing. You had Vietnam. You had Vietnam, and then you had the bush. But the actual spot was the other side. So Joe was fishing it, and he fished it so well because he fished it chods. The other side of it. So I was fishing the clear spot on one side of the bush. He was fishing the weed the other side, and this was the year after. Joe was on there the year. That was the year I dropped. So we didn't cross over
that first year.
And he did one year and absolutely emptied the place.
Yeah,
he fished
did.
it so
He's catching
well.
everything.
Yeah, fishing, but he fished things that none of us ever would have done. He fished solid bags.
He's just going to go for a piss.
He's going to go for a wee bit.
But we didn't touch on as well. Was talking about the island. The island was actually sunken island, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was 11 foot deep.
Yeah, on the top.
We can
sandbar.
actually talk about this without Pete because he never found it.
Yeah.
Actually, tell a lie. Peter did find it because Gillins swam his rods
Yeah,
out.
I was about to bring him up.
Yeah, he could. We will wait for him for that because that.
But
is
that island, you can
hilarious.
actually see that now. Obviously,
Yeah,
they've changed the lake completely.
Now they've rebuilt
since-
it. Yeah, there is
But
an actual.
that
island
was.
there.
I remember catching a fish out of there about 50 foot of water off the bottom.
Yeah, you fish your right hand rod.
Oh,
right
yeah,
down
that's
the
another
bottom.
good question.
Because
What's the
all the-
deepest?
all the-
35 for me.
You bait
Because
up.
I was really worried about it.
Yeah, you
Mine was
bait
the bottom
up
of the
and
shelf
it was
of
nice.
dugout.
It was nice. Like I had a gradual slope, and I think a lot of the bait used to just trundle
Well.
down. Do you know what I mean? And
Jake just went, sod it, I'm going to go further
give it a
right.
go. Like I see a show there. Like it means nothing
Actually,
really in that depth of water.
The best session I had out of dugout because of that reason was fishing with chops.
Yeah. So
They
they
didn't roll. So I was having bites on all three rods. Whereas, like you say, you'd get bite on the left, but then most of your bites would be on the deeper rod, wouldn't it? But surprisingly, like 30 foot of water. But the shallowest was like 11 foot, wasn't it?
I just didn't.
That shows you how.
The takes, wasn't it? Your rod would like
Just dive down.
Yeah.
I
It's like boat fishing, wasn't it? When you're playing them, it's like.
I used to fish so much I would always particle in that swim, so I knew it was sat, and I had my left and my middle rod there, and then I would put boilie out. You've got some lovely photos. Jake took some photos of me. Like I used to just catapult because it was only 11 or 12 wraps.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, 12 and a
Just
half. I think I was
catapult boilie out to it, and I'd stick them right always on the left hand rod. And knowing that some of it was always going to roll down because it wasn't too steep.
No,
lead like you didn't even have to use like flat leads or anything. You could put whatever pears and everything. The leads wouldn't roll, but boilies would. So you'd always just bait the left hand rod and know that you get takes because I think they used to come round it and work their way up the slope.
Yeah.
And so it's just.
You used to see him showing out in
This is
deep water.
getting annoyed. That's annoyed me now. Just thinking about
Just
how
thinking
good that swim was.
What swim are you on here, Vietnam?
About the dugout.
Dugout was a great
Fishing
swim.
the works.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, it was Headley
Yeah.
that introduced us to the single spot on there. It was
Yeah.
the dildo tree.
Yeah.
Do you remember
the
that?
dildo tree.
That
Absolutely miles away.
Yeah.
It was just
Dildo
the perfect cock of a tree.
Yeah, it was like literally just stood on its own.
Yeah, he was like, you want to go 11 wraps on the dildo tree?
It was like, was that a poplar or something? It was like miles away.
I don't know what it
Just
was.
stood
It was
there,
miles
just like
away,
this.
but it was just
Yeah,
a
the dildo
perfect.
tree was a marker. But that swim actually wasn't when I first couple of years I fished it. It was the wound.
It was the wound. That was what it was. Headley dug it out.
Yeah, but it wasn't fishable though. It wasn't really. It was
two little boards down there, didn't you? Because we built the swim. Do you remember? We had Fitzy. We used Fitzy as a whacker plate.
One of Fitzy's mates, Dan, I think Dan, his name was. I think he fished it, but he was literally like fishing it with his rods just in there, and when he was getting a fish he was going out in the boat and just netting them, and he had it off one session.
Headley did the same, I think.
Yeah,
he used to flood a lot.
Jump in the boat.
Yeah, he used to flood a lot. So
that was my first year.
I remember having a laser pen in the swim where you'd normally bivvy up. I was at the top, you know, when you sit at the top, and I had a laser pen, and the pike was chasing a laser pen. I've still got a video on Facebook. I'll try and fetch it. But
put that on, because I've got a photo of a pike in that swim. Once we rebuilt it,
it used to sit there,
and
then
the water level used to come up into the new dugout.
It was all sand.
We rebuilt it,
But I was like, I wonder if it'll chase it, because I was shooting the birds off as you do. And then I just shined it down by this pike, and this pike started going mental.
Is that how you shoot the birds off with a laser pen? Like a normal person?
Yeah.
Because have you ever fished opposite Jake? Jake, how do you shoot the birds off?
Pistol.
Was it an air pistol, was it? That used to ricochet off the water and hit the fucking bank behind me. I'll phone him, I'm like, don't do that. And he's like, I just hear it cock again. Bouncing past me, his air pistol. What are you going to do if you hit one? He's like,
that'll do it.
Don't know. Like,
this is the thing, you could.
He's like, I'm just scaring them. Like,
you just couldn't do that.
Couldn't do that nowadays. I was opposite him.
I had that more for the rats, to be fair. So
the rats were savage.
Mate, rats are savage.
Mate, and then I woke up with one of the birds.
Woke up with one on my chest.
Fitz woke up with a fox on his chest.
Yeah,
Fitz also woke up with a common in his sleeping bag.
He woke up.
Yeah, you remember that?
No.
I think it was Gillen's just woke Fitzy up by sliding a little cricket bag collar in the common
No
in his
way.
sleeping bag. Yeah.
God, the stories just keep coming.
There's a lot of stuff down there that happened. You can't say
that.
It was one of them lakes.
The one with the fox though was funny. Wasn't it? He woke up in the winter. Was that in the winter?
Was that when he lived there?
Around the winter time. I don't know if it's. I think he was in the car park.
When we used to drop him Red Cross parcels.
He just said he woke up in the middle of the night. I think it was, and he just obviously Fitz has got like a rather large belly. Sorry, Fitz. He knows he has. Anyway, he was laying there and he was like woke up in the night and it was just a fox just tucked up on his belly, like perched up. But it was kind of like level height, and he was just like,
mate,
fox on me. Do you know what I mean?
That man, honestly, he.
It's probably the same fox who used to nick one of your shoes. Remember?
Yeah. He'd come and get a shoe.
You'd wake up in the morning,
you'd be like,
and you fucking one of your shoes or both shoes are gone, and you'd find them down the bank with a little turd next to it.
Fitzy, I think was like he was Uncle Fitz. He really like educated all of us on everything other than fishing, just life. Like that man was one of the funniest. He's one of the funniest humans I've ever met.
I've ever met in my life.
Love him to bits.
How long did he live in a caravan down there for?
Well, I don't know. A fair while. Me and Peter used to pop down once a week. He was bread and milk.
He was living out of a Renault for the first bit. And then it was a bongo.
No, he was originally.
Then it was a caravan.
No, he was in the man cave first. He was in the old Armo, which I now own. I bought it off of him. So I've got his original Armo. When he was camped up in the car park for about 6 months.
I've got the crack bed.
Yes, you've got crack bed. And then he was in the bongo.
Yeah, the bongo, which where the crack bed was set up
he was in bongo shed. We spent a few nights in that, just listening to acid jazz, drinking beers.
Acid jazz.
Yeah,
you haven't lived. And then we got a caravan down there, which got painted
green,
double carpy green.
Yeah.
Set Fitzy up a shower.
NATO green.
NATO green.
Many a messy night in that caravan.
Caravan. You're like, mate, I'd go down on Friday night, be like 4 p.m. on Friday, get down there, set up in the swim, Fitzy be like, fancy a beer? And then you'd walk out of that caravan some point Saturday morning, like, I should probably do some fishing.
Should probably. I'm actually here to fish.
Just he's like, we'll go up. Do you remember when that Tesco Express came?
Oh yeah.
Up the road. Fitz used to say in the middle of summer, he's like, that scene in Gladiator. Where he's walking along with his hands through the long grass. Fitz is he's like that, mate. I go in that Tesco, walk down the freezer aisle. That scene from Gladiator. He's like, he just gave them 48 beers he'd be walking out with.
It's brilliant.
I saw the boys out a pack of Magnums, so I just get the ice creams and a load of beer, and we just.
Times I done in the summer, I would go down there, get like alcohol, disposable barbecue meat.
Sod the fishing. Just true, proper social. Just like, do you know what? We don't get, you never get to spend time with your friends like that. Like, it's just
and if it's a sunny day and you knew you was up against it, apart from a bit of floater fishing or zig fishing, you always just like,
it was just like,
let's get the beers out.
You just want to spend as much time as you could down there at the time. I remember when I first joined it, I actually quit my job. I will make a start. I wasn't happy in my job, and I was working in NHS in Croydon, and I had enough. And I remember just thinking, do you know what? I'm just going to sack it in and go fishing for the summer. But I would, at the same time, I had a bit of money tucked away, but I was working with Ryan Weller at the time, on and off. Like I'll do like 3-4 days a week, fish casually. Do you know what I mean?
George,
I was only 20.
George,
looking back,
George, come and do some work with me. All right, mate. Yeah, I will. We'll start on Monday. Phones me up Sunday night. All right, mate. I've quit. I'm going back to work for the NHS.
Yeah. Got to the winter and I was like, I don't fancy.
I'm like that.
Poor George.
All right, I'll just go and labour for some geezer I don't really know.
Ryan's top bloke.
I managed about 3 days. I was like, I don't want to do this.
I think it was Ryan Wello. Top bloke Ryan. Good angler.
I don't know him that well, but I know.
Good
very good angler. But he was just offering me like a bit of work every now and then. Do you know what I mean? I got George on board, but then I got offered a new job, and I was like, "Oh, just
literally within a week." Yeah. I was on holiday, and he phoned me on the Sunday night. I was meant to start working with him on the Monday. He's like, "I didn't want to phone you when you were on holiday, but I've quit." I'm like,
I still remember that conversation.
He's like, "You'll be all right. Just turn up." I'm like, "All right." I got told off for picking up someone's special shovel. Straight away, I was like, "You guys need to grow up."
Also, the other thing I'd love to bring up was a couple of funny times we've had. One was us two when I yanked your handbrake up. Going around. So we went around looking at lakes like you do when you're younger.
We were kids. Like,
I still remember it.
He hadn't been driving like
18.
No, I had my clapped up Corsa.
Proper old school round bubble.
You know when Jake gets excited? You know when he gets like well excited?
Oh yeah,
there's no stopping it.
It used to be Phantom Fruit Twisted, didn't it?
Yeah.
When we were kids.
Phantom Fruit is game over.
Driving down, wasn't it Gabriel's lane? We're driving down some little country lane, and I'm doing like 40, thinking, and Jake,
I'm in
Jake's
the front
hand
seat,
come over,
and just you from the back seat, just pulling that face, that exact face,
just
bright red face, just leans through, pulls the handbrake up. We're Simon, me and him, are basically just like hands in the air, like.
It was bad, yeah.
Pissing himself off.
Almost done like the car almost flipped on.
Yeah, I think that was also the day we had already gone to a different lake. We'd already aquaplaned to the point of nearly dying.
Put my foot down. I
doing about 50 mile an hour for a puddle. You aquaplane.
And then another time was you'd only just passed. And we're all
fuck, you're not going to bring that up, are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all going fishing.
For fuck's sake.
And I've been working hard. I thought, I'll get this Audi on finance like you do, being an idiot.
Should just stop showing off then.
So we went.
It's his fault, isn't it?
So we were off fishing. And I can't remember. We had to go and get a ticket from East Grinstead or something, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, one of us. Was I guessed than you?
Yeah, I think so. And I had to sort my
on the Earsfield ticket. So you had to go pick it up from that.
Yeah,
little
and then we're driving back, and I pull up at these traffic lights. Next thing I know, it's just bang from behind.
Torrential rain I would have had.
Literally, look in my rear mirror. There's that twat just sat there like.
No,
I've literally been driving a week.
Was that the old Punto? Was that the Punto?
The blue Punto.
What, you went through
I had it a week.
Straight into the back of my car.
Like literally stacked full of carp gear. Yeah.
You went through the back of
it. And it suddenly had this it wasn't raining all day, was it? But just had this torrential rainpour. I was following Jake and I've literally took my eyes off. Took my eyes off the road for like 5 seconds, looking at the garage and that. Look back, what bang! Straight into the back.
Did you write your car off?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, that was I managed to fix mine, but then
but the funny thing is, isn't it? It was still just about drivable.
Got them back.
So we 30 mile an hour back to Caterham.
Head gasket.
Dropped it off at my house. You kind of went home for a bit, didn't you? And then we was all both like, "Oh, what the fuck do we do?" And I think we got on the phone to each other and we was like, "Well," Jake was like,
truck,
I can get my dad's truck. We'll just put the gear in there. We'll go fishing."
Yeah, fair enough. That's what takes priority.
So and then went off.
Yeah,
I love that.
And we spent 2 nights together. Like, obviously, just
Like Jake didn't hate you.
Yeah, he probably did. He probably did hate me, but it's just the way he
That's what he told me.
You know what?
You know what? He hated me, but he loved the friendship more that he went fishing.
Yeah, no, but it shows like the fishing side of things takes priority.
Well, it was literally.
Yeah, you smashed your car, but we still went fishing. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, I was sat at home just like. what the fuck, like what am I doing? What's going on? And so it was the best thing for us to do. To be fair, it was unreal. I remember Sally's dad, like my wife's dad, came over, my father-in-law, and he tried to bend it out a few days later by chaining, like put a chain around it, putting it to his Merc, and like reversing and trying to pull the front end of my car out so that we could like. Maybe like salvage it, but then we had to call it quits.
Mate, you're lucky as well. I didn't even do you for whiplash. I should have done you for whiplash.
They could have been claimed there.
He moaned for weeks at work.
Mate, I can't believe you brought that up. You brought that back up on my wedding. Now you brought that up.
Did you say that?
It is a good story.
What a legend.
Such a good story. Such a good story.
We've had a hell of a lot of those though.
And then another time, remember you were looking after your neighbour's fish.
I forgot you came round.
I came round and like
Ian, his name was.
We had done it like for weeks and weeks and weeks. You include this fucking bloke. We'd been going around. This bloke had this tiny little pond, like from me to you, like maybe
it was quite deep though. Deep for a pond.
Deep, but he had these like mid doubles. Maybe one of them commons might have been a 20.
Nice fish.
Yeah, big
these lovely fish.
These.
So we've been going around there feeding these fish, and we're going, take boilies. He'd said feed them this food. We've been going in there feeding them boilies and whatever, pellet and that. Jake turns up. He's like,
Tyson PVA bags.
give him this solid bag.
But it was like one of the old school, you know, like the ESP ones you used to like lick and twist.
Big old fucking solid bag.
No, you
he's tied up and he's like, let's see what happens.
No, but wait. But in the lake, in the pond, sorry, there's a little shelf, but it's about a foot deep. So there's a little shelf, and I placed the PVA bag on this shelf, thinking, right, let it dissolve and let like the boilie, like the pellet go up. The fish has just come over and just gone take the whole PVA bag.
We stood there. We stood there for like 5 minutes. He's panicked. We stood there for 5 minutes watching this carp. Watching this carp. It didn't move. It stopped. PVA peeling out. Your pellet.
I know, but I thought
he's going. Oh my god! It can't swim. It's dead. It can't swim. It's dead. Oh my god!
I thought it was curtains,
he's just bright red, pissing himself laughing like it's fine. It'll be fine. Like,
mate, they do that every day.
And it was fine.
In linear, mate, they're doing it every second.
Exactly. They're just munching.
Honestly, it was the way it just went.
It was the way we watched it happen. This flat PVA bag, and we're like,
shows how much they can take.
Let's watch it dissolve. Whoop, in one, gone. Instantly.
You look at our little pop-ups and that, you think, oh, it's a bit big, but then, mate, honestly,
I've never seen anything like it. The whole thing.
So funny.
What carp?
So good.
Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was funny. But poor Ian though, like they were his fish, and he was like, "Yeah, come and feed them, just take care of them."
Look after them while I'm on holiday.
Only one of them's only gone and choked on PVA.
Oh, it's fine.
Oh,
going back to like fishing with you guys, I was thinking about the other night. I feel like because we fish, we get it a bit of BMX actually, me and Ben and that. I think because we grew up fishing together. Like when I fish with you now, you realise that you still fish the same. You know what I mean? Do you think that's a thing? Because you grew up around the same people, you fish a certain way. It's the same with the BMX. Like when you ride BMX, sometimes like people ride the jumps the same sort of style.
Like really badly.
Yeah, really badly. No, but they have the same sort of style because they grew up riding together. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the same with fishing.
Yeah, you and I.
A lot about tactics. A lot about
very similar.
I've looked at Jake's rigs. You couldn't
Me
put
and Jake
too many.
We were literally 9 years old.
Yeah.
When we were down at the Whitterings.
Yeah.
And I had a little spinning rod sort of in the back of my dad's truck, playing with that, and he literally goes to me, he's like, "Oh, you fish?" I was like, "Yeah, not really like this." I'm a cocky little 10-year-old, I'm the year above him. Like, yeah, I do coarse fishing. He was like, "I want to do that. I do this because your dad's got a boat, which we've all since then
good old moonlight.
learnt that world." But then that was when it was literally we were 9 and 10. Went down the vineyard, which you and I have spoken about a million times. And that was it. We were all in. We got to catch a carp, and it took us fucking ages.
I feel like I'm almost back to that though. I remember the last time I went fishing to Clay Pit.
Yeah. You caught one though.
Oh, just smashed out 20 out of home comment.
Yeah, but still, like, I hadn't been in ages.
We struggled.
Was that when we were walking back and your rod went off and you had to sprint over?
Yeah, that's
No, when we were carrying Matt.
Yeah.
Matt was.
Yeah, let's not go there.
So
paralytic,
I feel like
drunk.
I look at now you boys fish more. If I go now, I'll be looking at you boys. Like,
I mean, I've tweaked things in the last few years.
Nothing changed.
Fish,
but I think Peter's rigs have been the same since 2006.
No, they haven't.
I promise you they have. Peter's still using snake bite.
Snake bite.
Worse. The gold or the green?
Yeah, gold snake bite.
Have you know? I've tried some new rigs this summer and they've done well.
I've done
well.
You've done well, actually.
As far as I've heard, you've blanked for a long time.
No.
What was the last fish you had from the pit?
The pit? Oh, don't talk about the pit.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
But is that like
That's
Matt
a hard
and the big
lake.
leg?
Yeah.
Everyone has it, George.
Peter used to go to... Go on, name one. Peter used to go to France. I used to have to go around his house.
I remember when he tied me rigs.
Time 30 rigs.
I was still in school.
I go up the tackle shop, buy 3 packs of hooks. I'll tie I'd tie his rigs for the week.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the PVA first came about? And you know how we fish solid bags now? And everything's in the bag?
Yeah.
We used to fish the same size solid bag, but thread it on.
Yeah, we used to thread it on.
Like a stick.
Yeah.
And down Beaver Farm, that used to smash it.
Sometimes you used to put at the bottom like crushed boilie in that and you used to pull the hook through to it.
Hook forward. Do you remember West Pellet?
Yeah.
And you used to catch a sturgeon.
Is that Do you remember I feel like me and Jake really went in. Do you remember the massive PVA bags, the solid bags?
The ones that are this long.
Me and you went all in on them. Yeah. We used to take it in turns, like holding them. We'd hold them for each other, so you could like beach caster them, and also it was just lick and stick, and then just put the hook through the huge twisted bit of PVA and just absolutely beach caster them.
You just remind
me. We also went through a phase of using method feeders.
Do you remember
Vitalin?
Mate.
George, while we're on the subject of like Beaver Farm, sort of like PVA. Do you remember who was it who tied Danny Bateman a rig made out of PVA?
Well,
string?
it actually, funnily enough, it happened twice. So
I think it was him and Reed.
I did it, but I did it not knowing that Reese and Dave had already done it.
Oh, right, they already done it.
They did it to him, and then he was like, "You tied me."
I was down the lake. I just heard about it.
I feel bad in a way that I left a hook next to a boilie in a lake.
Yeah, but
not really. I tied him herring on PVA string.
We were kids,
but not knowing that somebody else one of our other friends had already done it to him, which is just
so tied the rig out of PVA.
Incredible.
As that melts, you're just left. You just wound in a lead. There's
Oh,
no rig there. He's wondered why he's not caught anything all day.
I'll tell you one funny story about Danny Bateman I'll never forget. You remember Dalton's Lake at Beaver, long old lake? I remember him fishing right down the other end with his dad.
Yeah.
And I remember waking up one morning and thinking, right, nice, like 6 o'clock in the morning. I remember getting up, casting his rod out down the lake, everyone's lines, and then I remember him reeling in. Everyone's still asleep.
That was the night,
and he just running. He drops his rod, ran away, and I remember just thinking, what the hell is this going on?
That was the night. The next that morning, that is the only time me and Matt have had a fight. Because he decided he slept under literally
I made my own bivvy.
Umbrella. He slept under an umbrella in a poncho and a sleeping bag and like a tarpaulin.
I made my own bivvy.
I walked round the lake that the morning. On my way, just picked up like 6 slugs.
Big fuck. Right.
Put them all over his face and that. Bear in mind, we're 15 years old. Put all over his face. He woke up. He lost his mind. Lost his mind. I couldn't run fast enough for laughing.
Mate,
he caught me, and I just had to take this beating. Tears of laughter. Just remember how Matt used to be. So
Matt used to be tiny.
It was literally, it was like my little sister, just like little fucking Oompa Loompa just laying into me, and I'm just like pissing myself laughing.
I was so livid.
He's got like slime all on his face.
And he was like, you know those orangey ones?
No, proper
big
animal slugs. But that was that exact night that Danny did that. The night before, we had watched, someone had, this is 2004, 2005, someone had one of them little portable TVs.
Black and white.
Classic Leroy. Classic Leroy with a gadget.
I remember watching a horror film.
Yes, that was the night, mate.
Sorry.
We watched Werewolf, one of the werewolves in London. Team Werewolf, and he walked down the end. His old man was like, "Time to go to bed, Danny." He's walked down the end of the lake. It's like full moon. He's just stood at the end of the lake like, howling. And then that next morning, I put slugs on his face, and Danny cast up the lake and wound everyone's rising.
And that lake was like a canal, wasn't it?
It was,
and he's just gone. His swimming's facing down the canal, basically.
And everybody fished to the opposite margin.
And he's just like about 12 rods.
One swim. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, mate, the good old times.
Those times were brilliant.
As kids,
it's like growing up, and it was a hobby / culture. Do you know what I mean? And it was like as we got older, it was like
got more serious.
But I stopped fishing for a number of years, but I will never lose the buzz for it. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I started fishing properly again the last couple of years. And I'm even buzzing for it more now than I was back then.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away, I don't think.
Doesn't go away.
No.
And people are like, you go fishing, people like take the mick out of you. Some people are like, why'd you go fishing? But actually, unless you've like done it for that many years, it's just, it's ridiculous.
You either love it or you hate it. It's like you take to it or you don't. Like
100%.
You know, it's
we've
one
all
of those
got
things.
now like what is 25 years. And you don't even think about it. It feels like yesterday. All the stuff we've spoken about, like the kids stuff, mate.
Yeah, like we went perch fishing last weekend, right? And we were like just float fishing. I couldn't sleep the night before I went.
No,
I was like, go fishing
we're
tomorrow.
literally
I was like, I can't wait.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Messaging each other, and then we're like, we'll meet at the gate opens at 7 a.m. at this lake. Messaging each other at 5 a.m. Like, I'm ready. I'm up, like going. Fucking stupid. We used to go a bit of float fishing with some maggots, a couple of
freezing up,
and we caught we had a handful of perch each. Although, I mean,
you did catch a big one,
No, but stupid. But that's how you know you still absolutely love it.
Yeah. That's the only reason I'm friends with you and Matt. Just when we were older, so I could come around you because you boys had Sky.
Yeah.
I did back then.
Yeah.
Mum and Dad, I didn't. My mum and Dad did.
Discovery Shed, come around watch. He used to come around. It was always on a Friday night. Jake would be like,
"You've brought up such a good topic. Like Matt Hayes, John Wilson,
Rod Race,
Rod Race, all of them. I wake up in the morning and just watching fishing from like. It used to be like fishing from like 8 o'clock in the morning through to like midday, I think it was. And it was like I used to watch every single.
I remember like I'd stay around one of your boys' houses, and then that night you'd be watching the fishing, getting all your gear ready, and then the next morning you'd be going. I'll never forget those.
Remember that little question, like walking up to your dad, like, Dad,
can you take us?
Could you take us fishing, please, tomorrow?
Yeah. Always
all right.
As if it was such a chore.
And I really hope my kids get to experience that.
You got to pass it on. You just got to pass it on.
Some of my fondest memories, all of
that. On that note, as well, is everybody well aware of Matt Hayes' YouTube channel?
Yeah. I've subscribed to it.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
I've just subscribed to it.
Like I've just done. Me and Reese just messaged like most days. Like, did you watch that one?
Yeah.
He's uploaded all the old stuff,
old school ones.
Oh my God! And then I found, weirdly enough, literally last night, couldn't sleep, flicking through YouTube, searching stuff. Found all the old Passion for England.
Mate,
my
they
God.
were the best.
It was incredible. Yeah. And I was like, well, this isn't going to send me to sleep.
What was the name of the TV? What was the name of the TV channel it was on back in the day?
He had a couple of names. You had
Discovery
and Leisure, and then it was like Discovery Shed.
Discovery Shed was the late.
There was like a Sunday morning where you had like 4 or 5 hours.
It was like
good
5
fishing,
hours.
Followed by Wheeler Dealers.
Remember like you had the sea fisherman. What was his name? Jake, do you remember?
Yeah.
He was a bit nutty. He was good to watch. And then you had the trout angler. Remember the trout guy?
Yeah.
Lee.
Paul. No.
Oh yes, I know
something.
Yeah.
Had a tag. Did you have a tag?
Yeah. Paul had the tash, and then the sea angler was like blondie, kind of typical sea-looking sort of fisherman.
Can't remember his name.
There was such a like. And this thing is, we were like carp anglers mainly, weren't we? But I still watched all of those other episodes.
But that was the thing. We weren't at that time. We weren't carp anglers. Like we had, we'd still no matter what we wanted, we would just
fish for
you and I
fish whatever you had to. You done a lot of sea fishing, didn't you?
Still fishing, fishing's fishing, man. Like I'd never lose the buzz for any type of fishing. Like, and I think that doesn't really exist anymore. Like, there's a lot of just, I just want to catch carp. Like,
well, a lot of it is just handed to you on a plate in it with the way carp fishing is now. So when they get into fishing, they just go straight into the carp.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's great.
But
they got ready tied mix. They got everything, which is a bit of a shame because you're not thinking, you're not learning from the absolute core, the basics of fishing. Like actually, have you ever picked up a float rod when you haven't picked one up for a while?
Yeah,
mate, they're a nightmare. Like it's so fiddly and that's an art. Like to learn how to use a float, whether it be on a river, up against some pads or whatever.
It's the best way to start, I think.
And plumb kids nowadays who get into carp fishing won't know how to plumb depth.
No, or anything. We did it the other day, fishing last weekend, perch fishing.
Old school.
How mind blown were both of us that this lake was 6 foot deep. You're looking at the distance you float from Europe. What are we doing here? I would have turned up and just set it up.
4 foot.
That's got to be deep enough. Like, stick the little plummet on. It's jumping back out. Like, do it properly.
It's an eye opener.
And you're like, float's disappearing. Whack it up, disappearing.
Learning where they are on the day as well.
Mad.
Tweaking it by an inch or two. Like.
Playing with it all day, and it's like I completely forgot about it. Like,
hats off to those match anglers.
Oh, mate, 100%.
That's some proper finesse and it's hard. I think it's
but
harder than
looking back when I first started. My brother, Headley, gave me a float rod. I remember down Vineyards and was like, right, this is you for the day. You ain't fishing on the bottom yet. You're fishing on the float. I had an £8 mirror. I remember when I had it, and I was just like mind blown. Do you know what I mean? But that's a good learning step. Do you know what I mean? I think float fishing is definitely the first step. But now, like you say, you got everything, mate, set up for you. You can get carp rods, you can get ready tied rigs, you can cast it out.
I think it's great because it keeps the sport going. It gets people into it, which is what we want. Spreads the love, but obviously you just lose that. I don't know. There's a lot of skills that I put into my carp fishing nowadays that I learned as a kid.
The progression is important.
And you can't teach that. You learn it over years.
Too many instant anglers.
Maybe.
Without sounding like.
Yeah. They're already straight away. They get into a lake and they're trying to wrap up and cast 20 wraps and hit the clip and feel lead down. That's great, but you're losing all the other bits. You teach them. You look. Some of these kids can hit 25 wraps and stuff. Like Tom Maker can. You know what I mean? But they can't flick underarm flick to a little set of pads just down here because they've never done it before. You know what I mean? It's just or you set them up. You tell them how to set up a fish off the top or something. Yeah. And they're like, what? Oh, I don't know how to do that. They.
Changed, isn't it? Your old man fished a lot, and he teach you how to fish. All same with your dad as well, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? So
who got you into fishing?
Headley,
brother.
Headley was mad for it.
Who got Headley into fishing? Was your dad?
Don't really. No, not my dad didn't fish. I don't know how Headley got into it. I'd have to ask him. I think one of his mates at school fished. Yeah. You know what Headley's like? Quite meticulous anyway. Miriam Dance.
Do you remember?
The school teacher. Yeah, I think they took her on a fishing trip somewhere. I think that's right, actually.
I remember it.
I'll have to ask him. But
you know Miriam.
I remember she was a bit of a ledge, I think.
She's a hero, man.
I think they went to do some match day or something.
They did a school trip.
You know what Heads was like? He got well into it, and he's quite like all or nothing. Started carp handling. Then Will, my other brother, started fishing, and I was like, I want to go. I
remember him
as you do, older brothers are going, and then I was like hooked on it. Do you know what I mean? And then at school, obviously, we all met.
You were just from birth.
Yeah, I think it was.
I feel sorry for you, Jake.
You're old man. It's literally like
put one in your hand.
Jake came out and went, yeah, kid. Yeah, jokes, mate.
Unfortunately, we've got to move on a little bit because we've run out of time. We can't talk as much as we could easily sit here and talk about old times all night. We have got some voice notes to listen to. Excellent. And want to thank everyone for sending them in. Keeps it going, and we've got a free giveaway which is going to be a washable folding bag that's good for overnighters and stuff from Spiro. It's going to be winning the best voice note of the month and the noddy on the poddy. We've got 3 of us to pick, so I don't know how you're going to
we'll work it out.
You 3 can pick it. There's the noddy of the poddy and then the best voice note of the month.
Sweet.
Let's get into the first one. Let's go.
Straight in the mic.
Turn up, make sure.
Alright boys, hope you're well. Something that pisses me off when I'm down the lake. Match anglers.
This was the subject.
It's not what they're doing, it's the way they go about it. You know, I understand appreciating catching all the species of fish, rate that. But they descend down the lakes in their bloody Citroen Picassos, their blue boxes, and they decide to shout 3 swims down to each other going, oh mate, yeah, I've just had a 5-ounce bream. And I'm like, it's fucking 7 o'clock in the morning. Shut the fuck up. So yeah, that's my little
fair point.
rant there. But yeah. Some of them fine, some of them pain in the arse.
Fair shout.
I mean,
I start early to match anglers. Do you know what I mean?
Could have been better timing, couldn't it?
Yeah, no,
I love that.
Yeah,
They do start early though, and they're like,
You know what? The only thing he's got a
anti.
point about is you find it on club waters. And I know he fishes a lot of club waters. Club waters is like, you get anyone.
Yeah.
But also the match owners, you'll be doing the night or the weekend, and the match owners turning up at 6 or 7 in the morning. And they will be 3 swims away from each other.
Yeah,
and on club waters, the swims are quite tight anyway, as we know. And they're shouting into each other. Oh, how's it going? Yeah, I've just had a couple of roach, mate. Oh, nothing over here, mate. And they're shouting, and you're just sitting there thinking,
proving
you're just
that
ruining my session. Like,
no, thus proving that shouting doesn't affect anything. Because they're still fucking hauling fish. Legends.
well, they're not holding.
Love them.
Oh,
Love them.
there's always one.
You guys can all be anti.
no, I don't like noise by the way, man.
No.
Not when you're close in.
Not people
but
shouting.
You fish shit waters.
Oh, then don't know. It's tricky. I think the snaggy little waters where you're fishing close in, noise is never
that'd
good.
be-
I like
Yeah, but when
person.
does that happen? Like,
Yeah, it's true.
stop
Yeah.
fishing match waters, mate.
That's true.
You can keep your F1s, mate. I've
That's
never
true.
experienced it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my reaction.
Yeah.
Go on.
Let's get moving on.
Right, lad, it's your boy Maintenance. My top noddy moment would have had to been, it was
Every
a full bleach session. Bearing in mind, I just started fishing, like your brother Peter got me into it. So I only had like 9-foot Nash Dwarfs. So, and it was my first time fishing alongside you, like having you there. So I was a bit like, Peter bigged you up. Well, not bigged you up, but like said like, if you do anything like noddy-ish, he's going to rip you. So I've already had that in my head. So I've got to like you'll
Making
teach me a
sound
few
nice.
bits, and now I've wrapped up, and I've gone to cast out, and obviously not pushed the rod tip into the bottom section of the rod properly. So I've gone and whacked
remember
it, and the fucking rod tip has just come flying off, made a massive clutter into the water, and I've looked at it,
He's
and
just standing
I
there
just
with half
wish
a
the
rod.
ground would have swallowed me up whole.
Love it.
But yeah, that's my top noddy moment, I think.
That's his top model.
Well, there's a lot, I think.
I could write you a list.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I remember that. I remember looking down.
that's-
I looked down, and he was just standing there, like bright red face, just like half a rod, the big splash
you
in front of
see
him.
him?
I
You
was
were there?
there. That's what
Oh,
I mean.
yeah,
He was
you were
talking
there.
about me, like he was
I
like.
thought Peter was there.
This is like,
No,
I mean,
both there.
bless him. It was his first few sessions. I don't know if he's been fishing.
Don't
long.
worry. Like,
How many yards did he go?
I'm fishing. I fish with him quite often
It's at Fort
now,
Lee, I
right?
think.
And this is years on, and I promise you,
Nothing's
changed. Like, this is the world's biggest nod. Like,
He caught some
if you're
fish,
if
though.
you're doing like a
Poor
biggest
bloke.
nod of the pod thing, you need to do a he can't send a voice note in thing, like, because that's not really fair.
Yeah, because he'll just win them all.
He wins every single week. Like, I fished with him early in January, and I sent you a video actually. Like, I walked into his swim, just I knew what was going on because I had my rods out, like, and all I could hear was like just casting. I walked into his swim, and I was like filming straight away. I'm like, Dan, like if you hit the clip, it'll be like better. Like you're like blah blah. Just trying to wind him up, and he fucking bit my head off. He's, I have it, Glebe, George. Shut up, like fuck. The world's biggest nod. I can't wait for him to see me say that.
Well, if we did one for worst, like most lost fish, I think you'd win every week.
Maybe. I dropped the odd one.
Right, let's go. We've got a few to get through.
Oi, oi, matey boy. I don't know how to voice note your old Danglers podcast thing, but I'll tell you a good one, yeah? So years ago, me and Jake Hassel, good friend of mine, moved to Scotland, good chef back now. So we all went fishing down Beaver Farm, me, Ashley, Dancy, Reachmore, obviously myself, cracking winter's day. So we all went a kip, and here's Jake. We think, what the fuck's that? Smoking. He's only used his cooker to try and eat himself up under his bedsit cover in his brolly, set himself on fire.
Oh no, I knew that was going.
Fucking fireman's set all of us. Put him out, all that. Geezer's opened up, makes a little coffee in the burger van. I'll tell you what, that was a fucking cracking old night that was on Snipe Lake.
Mate. What?
Is that Jay?
No, that's Jamie.
Yeah, it was Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie.
That is class story.
Yeah,
so
mate.
dangerous, man.
Class, but
Fucking dangerous, mate. Yeah.
And on that note, don't try to heat yourself up with your gas stove.
Stop dicking around with.
Don't leave
It's not only the flame you got to worry about; it's the carbon monoxide.
Just stop it.
It's one of the biggest, like.
Even if you have, I think there's someone did a test, didn't they? Even if you have a little vent at the top, like
doesn't matter.
It's still not enough. It's not enough. It still holds in there.
Don't.
I haven't used.
Just get yourself a hot water bottle.
Yes,
and
that's
just
it.
Fucking heat yourself up in a sleeping bag. That's all you need.
Because unfortunately, people haven't woke up in the morning because of it. So don't do it.
Hot water bottle's the way forward in the winter. That's all you need.
I literally peed this winter. Discovered that.
Like, brilliant. Oh, how nice is it when you just like get it? You put it in before you get into bed.
Yes.
And just like
because I've literally only ever a brolly, and then I was like, this is going to be cold.
It's game changer, man.
-4 this winter, this January. And Mrs. was like,
"Yeah,
you got a hot water bottle."
Alice bought me one for like birthday present.
And I was like,
"Oh,
do you know what?
present.
I haven't, but everybody, I know everybody uses one." I was like, "Yeah, I'll take one with me." So she'd give me one of hers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not just at night though. Like in the day when you're like, in the day and it's even in the winter.
It so many times.
There's sometimes you just sit there and put it on your feet and that. It just makes.
I also thought I was an absolute genius, and then realised obviously everybody else has thought about this a million times. Is putting the water from the hot water bottle back in my kettle and reboiling it. I was like, I'm so smart. I've never used a hot water bottle before.
I've never thought that.
You've been pouring it away every time, reboiling water.
There
we go.
On the bank, you just wasted.
This is me talking. I'm not.
I knew it.
He probably spills off.
I was smart. I knew I was clever.
Right.
Go on.
Hello lads, not sure if this one counts as noddy on the poddy as it was my mate and not myself, but let me set the scene. We were fishing Manor Farm Linear on a lake exclusive with quite a big group of us, and me and my mate were in pegs 1 and 2, I believe, if not it was 2 and 3. For anyone who knows, it's just through one of the side gates and sort of the easiest to get to from the car, so was happy in that sense, but we got there, set up and everything, and got all comfortable. Took in Linear, took in Manor Farm, and decided to start having a feel about with the rods. I'm chucking a bare lead out there and seeing what I can feel, finding the depths, finding ranges, etc. And my mate's just got a brand new deeper, so he's thought, you know what, let me whack this on and cast this out, see how this works. I've walked around into his swim to see it all in action and everything else, and maybe the first cast, maybe the second, he's absolutely whacked it. It just broke off, and then all of a sudden his new deepers in the middle of Manor Farm. We had a wind that day that was blowing northerly, and luckily enough, this took it all the way down, right to the end of the lake where he could take his net and net it. With the floating around in the middle of the lake. If anybody has it in front of their swim, please let us know. And it was quality. It was such a laugh for it to be his first go with brand new depot, and he's just absolutely lost it in the middle of Manor Farm.
Quality.
And just to add to that, the group of people that we was fishing this exclusive with, we didn't really know properly. It was just last minute we jump in someone else's social, and there was a bunch of random lads. So you can imagine once he's put a message in saying lads have snapped me deeper off.
That is the
he looks like a right noddy.
Yeah, that is the biggest noddy stamp possible. If it's people you don't know,
I think they should both win it if it is that. Who have we got?
Hello lads, I'm Davey Carper. I've just got down to the lake after work. Going to put in about 36 hours this weekend on a nice full moon, a cold one. Bivvy's broken, alarms didn't want to turn on, but we're out here and we finally fucking got the rods in. My little story to you is, back in the day when I used to smoke a bit of the funny fags, nice hot summer's day, I'm sat up on the bank, I see
something moving in the water towards the bank, and I'm thinking, what is that? Sitting there with me and my friends, not saying a word to them. I've rushed down to the lake, grabbed my net, netted a grass snake that was a metre long, maybe more.
Sick.
And I've never seen one this big before. I've netted it, managed to pick it up and grab it and chase all my mates with this big grass snake. My question to you boys is, what's the maddest sort of animal that you've seen or come across on the bank? Any stories of wild animals scaring you at night? I know recently I've seen a video of some guy in his bivvy that woke up with a massive dog in there. There's always some strange wildlife out there on the banks, even in the UK. So what's the best story you've got? I tell you, the snake killed everyone. Everyone was so scared. I'll take a little photo along with this. Cheers, lads.
Can I just...
that's quality.
Podcast, by the way.
Can I just say that is how you do a voice note? Like, he's told us a story and then he's finished it. He's finished it with a question as well, which is absolutely spot on, mate.
However, he's ignited something.
Go on then. He did ask a question, so you can answer it, George. No, I know you want to.
I know you want to. Yeah.
You were very privy to this. I saw a fucking big cat at the Glebe.
Yeah, you did.
Staying on Glebe theme here.
Yeah. You were convinced actually you did.
No.
What sort of big cat? We talking?
It was a puma. I'm not joking. I'm not. Right.
Listen,
shut up, a lot of you.
How many beers he had?
Listen.
He's been smoking them funny.
Left-handed cigarettes, long way away. Look, right. I was down there. Shanahan, Joe will 100% vouch for this. Stone cold sober. I said we were having a barbecue. We were in a dugout, right? You know the field was just there. I walked off to have a piss, facing the field, and I saw a big dog. I thought it was an Alsatian or something walking through the field, and I'm like, all right, where's the owner? I'm like looking at it. I'm like, that's weird. Like, stood there having a piss. Like, where's the owner? Like, thinking someone's going to see me having a piss. Like, turning me like, no. Then this thing comes along, and I see this tail up. You know the way cats walk?
Fucking Labradors.
They cross their legs. Shut up. Cross their legs like that, like, and its tail's up in the air like that. And I'm like, Joe, come here. Joe, come here. And he's like, what? He's come along. He stood there. We both stood there looking at this big black cat walking like cross legs, tail up in the air, like wafting. I start making noises. I'm like that.
You're going to call it over?
It stops. No, because I was like, will it react? What is it? Like, stops dead still, looks at us, and I was like, we're like holding each other at this point. Like, what the fuck is that? It was a big cat. It was a big cat. Joe moved swims.
But then that progressed though to like being something else.
No. I'm not joking.
Into a pencil.
It was a big cat. I then turned up the week later, and there was a swim. Caution taped off. Someone had caution taped off a swim with a big sign saying "Watch out for big cats." I'm pretty sure it's Mickey Roberts.
It's Mick Roberts was putting everyone to leave.
Is it on
yes,
Google?
It is on Google.
On the trail of the Surrey puma.
Thank you. It's a very well-known thing. I'm not joking. It's a very well-known thing.
I can't believe it's on Google. I'm going to have to search the shit out of that.
Yeah, he had to. Joe, he was so scared. I was just fishing in the dugout, and he was fishing in Vietnam. He had to move up to Suicide, the swim in between, so that we were only like 50 metres apart because we were so scared. I'm not joking. We watched this thing for like 20 minutes. Walk around this field.
You better watch out, Ben. You're pretty close to it, mate.
Yeah, it's only actually. How have we not discussed the fact that we are literally 200 metres away from this
away? Yeah. I thought that.
Should we all go over there in a minute?
We're pretty close.
Yeah. Should we go over there in a minute?
Drink a beer?
Yeah, why not? Toast to it.
Go and have a cry.
I got my boy Rob with me.
Not in there.
Like old times.
We got one more voice note to finish up, boys, and then see what this one is.
Right, George, it's Munch. Just wanted to ask, because obviously I see like you're big into your fishing, but obviously a lot of other people that I see they're big into their fishing, they've always got like water chucked over them when they've done well. And you never seem to have it. Like, is it that you're not very good, or what does that mean?
Let me answer this.
Right, so no, listen.
I'm going to answer it.
Let me just really quickly. So that's a good friend of mine that you know very well. He's worked for Jake and stuff. He's a very average rugby player, like nice guy, really lovely guy. But he also worked for Jake while your brother was working for Jake, Peter.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter will never shut up about fishing and stuff. And Peter loves a bucket of water over him when he has a PB.
Yeah.
And that is basically what Munch is getting at. Because at work, I'm just like...
I'll tell you what he's getting at.
I'm not about it.
What he's getting at, right, is the... Well, he doesn't ever get to hold up the fish because he loses them before he even fucking gets them in the net. So he never quite gets to the bucket moment because he doesn't get to celebrate his captures.
This was the whole thing. So Munch was there for this chat with me and your brother. Your brother loves a bucket of water when he's had a PB. When you're as good as me, you don't catch that many PBs, right? But equally, that is fucking lame.
Yeah.
You
going
what,
for
the bucket of water?
The bucket of fucking water.
I've never done that.
That's lame?
No.
I don't know. I've had it.
I've never really had a time when I've...
It's like a celebration.
You've never had a PB.
I've never had a... Well, I haven't had a UK 40,
I've
so
had
maybe
it.
if I had one of them. But I never really thought of it as a...
I just don't get it.
I mean, some people, they go over the top, don't they, with the buckets and buckets and buckets. I mean, if you're holding up your fish and you're done with the photos, you're done with the videoing, you're celebrating the moment with a group of... If it's you and one other mate, I don't really get it. If it's a group of boys and you're all celebrating it, like, you know, you can imagine the boys on like Lynch Hill and everyone, they all get together, a bit like us on the Glebe. Everyone wheels in their boards to go round.
If you'd throw it on the Glebe, if I had one of the girls... and you threw a bucket of water at me, I'd fucking quickly slip that back and I'd fight.
No.
I'm not.
No, you wouldn't.
I do not get it. It's not a thing.
I think,
not a thing. I don't know where it came from and I don't know why it's a thing now.
Well, we'll see. Leave your comments below.
Yeah, that's what they are.
I want to know. Let me know what you think.
I want to know where we stand on
thumbs up with the buckets or thumbs down?
Massive idiot.
I think you are.
Oh, it's fun. Actually, fuck
yeah. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up, boys.
Don't answer that one. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Well, we'll see what the public think. I think you're going to be outnumbered a little bit there.
Almost certainly.
Keep the. I just want to say, keep the voice notes coming in because we love them, and obviously got a good chance. Oh, we need to pick.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Go on. What are our options?
So you got Noddy on the poddy, which is going to win one of our new mugs.
Bosh.
And that one's for you for coming on.
Oh,
you've already got one, so you don't get one.
I'll have another one then.
You're not having another
one.
Right. Jake, you can have one.
And that's Jake's. And then the Noddy on the poddy this month's going to win a mug and the Spiro free giveaway, which is the fold away bag, which is it's over there somewhere. Behind Jake.
Lost it.
Anyway,
a bag.
It's the fold away washable bag that's really good for overnight. You leave it in the top of your van or something.
Oh, I actually know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah,
I've got one.
Wicked.
So we're going to give that away. So you get to pick.
I like Dan's one. I did like Dan's ones.
Unfortunately, look, he is the biggest noddy in the world.
That was a good voice. I think the guy that interacted with us.
Yeah, and the snake guy
was the best voice.
How does it work?
Hold it up, Jake, to the camera. Somewhere. There you go.
Oh yeah, nice.
So it's a fold away wash bag.
Yeah, it looks good. Pretty decent.
It's even got a mirror in it, so you can check your face and your teeth and
give yourself a little.
Obviously, you can.
That's going to come in handy. That's going to come in handy.
You can put your wipes in there, toothbrush.
If you have a PB, you don't need to look at it because if you have a PB, you can check yourself and check your hair and stuff. Yeah, you don't.
I reckon the snake, but
the snake was good.
Snake was good actually.
The snake, what for the free giveaway?
That's not. Yeah, that's not a noddy one.
No,
the snake, and then unfortunately.
I don't know, but what was the other noddy one? The boy where he's doing it for his mate. That's
good. The deeper
linear.
I'll leave it to you. I reckon deeper.
The deeper one.
Yeah, that's horrible.
You know what? We'll have to give him 2 mugs because it's 2 of them. It's him and his mate. So we'll give them both a mug each.
That is awful.
For
doing it in front of people you don't know. And having to be like, sorry.
And that's the only time it would happen, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's only going to happen. If you were with a group of friends, game over.
Yeah, so we've got the free giveaway from Spiro for the snake. Which is Dave Carper, I think. Yep. And then the other 2 guys is the other winner. Let me just find it. Is Dave Holt. Dave Holt and his mate.
Yeah.
With the deeper.
I think. Yeah.
It's good.
Great noddy work.
Go with that.
Keep it up.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Enjoyed it. Get some coffee.
Thanks for having us.
And we'll have to get you on another time.
Yeah, we need to go fishing, boys.
Yeah, we should probably go fishing.
Let's go in a minute.
What do you reckon? We do a live podcast on the bank. Do a big. Should we do a United Anglers social?
Oh, that's a good shout.
That is a great shout.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah. Right, it's in the. That's it. It's in the diary now.
Do it.
Cheers, boys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers,
Cheers all. Thank you very much.
Oh, that was good.